Hey, Margaret, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, Councilmember Staten, I can hear you.
ready, Margaret?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are we ready? Oh, everything's green. Here we go. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to December 8th, 2020 City Council Successor Agency meeting. Tonight will be probably a night to go down in infancy. So, Margaret, you want to start? Are you there?
Yes, sorry. Vice Mayor Bryant? Let's do roll call. Vice Mayor Bryant?
Unmute, Bryant.
It looks like we may have had him drop off the line for a moment.
Can you hear me, Margaret?
You're on mute, right?
I'll continue with the rest of the roll call, and I'll note when Vice Mayor Bryant joins us.
Okay.
Councilmember Rary?
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Here.
Councilmember Staton?
Here.
Mayor Taylor?
Here. Vice Mayor on yet?
I do not see him yet.
You might be on. Just got an echo. Oh, you got a mute.
Oh. He's back.
Okay.
I'll note for the record that Vice Mayor Bryant has joined the meeting, and I believe we're ready for the pledge.
Okay. I'll do the pledge tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You, Margaret, ready?
Yes, sir. We have public comments. At this time, the public is permitted to address the City Council on items that are listed under informational reports, items on the consent calendar, requests for future agenda items, new requests, items not on the agenda, presentations including recognitions for outgoing Mayor Taylor, Council members Rary and Staton, and if desired, the incoming elected officials. Another public comment period will be available later in the agenda to recognize incoming Mayor Bryant and Council members Mendoza and Myers, when the latter two will be on the camera. If any, we did receive one public comment earlier, and that will be posted to our website. If you wish to speak under public comment, please use the raise your hand feature in WebEx, and I'll unmute you when it's your turn to talk. We do have a couple of presentations from outside parties for our council members, for our outgoing council members, and bear with me. I'm going to unmute, I believe Congressman McNerney is on the line. Congressman McNerney, go ahead.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Good evening, and thanks for inviting me to speak tonight. I'm here to recognize Mayor Taylor, Council members Claudette Stanton and Karen Rary for your contribution to the city of Brentwood. I have submitted a congressional record statement honoring Mayor Taylor to the Library of Congress. This will be remembered in the nation's archives forever. And I would like to read that now. Madam Speaker, I ask my colleagues to join me in recognizing Mayor Robert Taylor, Bob Taylor, for his decades of dedicated public service to our community. This year, Bob will retire after serving as mayor of the city of Brentwood for the last 14 years, longer than any other mayor in Brentwood's history. Bob Taylor was first elected to the Brentwood City Council in 2004 and served as a council member for 2 years until he was elected mayor in 2006. As Bob Taylor has shown his unwavering commitment to our community, and it is well known for his vibrant personality and dedication to the success of the city of Brentwood and its residents. Bob has also been instrumental in ensuring the safety of the community at large through his service on transportation committees such as the Highway 4 Bypass Authority. In addition to this and other committees, he serves on numerous boards and commissions, making sure never to miss an opportunity that could improve the quality of life of his constituents. Prior to becoming mayor, Bob served 12 years on the Liberty Union High School District Board of Trustees. He has been a businessman and a farmer and was past president of the Harvest Time Brentwood, a local nonprofit farming organization. He is an active community member participating in the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce events, among many other community activities. Bob has made invaluable contributions to our community, and his leadership has made a positive impact on countless individuals and families. Bob is also a veteran who served our great nation as a member of the United States Navy during the Vietnam era. He currently acts as a Brentwood City Council's liaison to various veterans groups, demonstrating his steadfast commitment to his fellow service members and to our nation's veterans. I ask my colleagues to join me in honoring and recognizing Robert Bob Taylor. His distinguished public service is unparalleled and is an example to us all. Thanks again, Mayor Taylor. On a personal note, I've seen Bob wear personal hats and a Halloween chicken suits. Bob will do anything to bring good spirits and prosperity to Brentwood. I'd also like to thank Council Members Stanton and Karen Rary, Claudette Stanton and Karen Rary. I provided certificates of congressional recognition to each of them in honor of their service. Brentwood has been very fortunate to have you as council members. Lastly, I would like to give goodwill to Mayor-elect Joe Bryant. I know you will work your heart out to fill the big shoes of Bob Taylor. Again, thank you for your hard work and dedication to the cities of Brentwood, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Good luck, everyone.
May I make a comment? Hello?
Yeah, it's your meeting, Bob.
Oh, not for very long, Congressman. Anyway, Mark, can you put my face up there?
Yes, sir, your face is showing.
Gee, I'm not seeing it on my, you need to take the edges. I want to see myself, but I know the congressman is busy. He doesn't really need to see my face. First of all, I want to thank you for the kind words, and you know, you can't do it with. I made a comment many years ago. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and I have been very blessed to have had many people who have put me in this station of my life, and then who have helped guide me. And I am a believer of God, country, and where I live, and family. So, Congressman, I want to thank you so much. You know, I'll probably get real emotional after all this is over because I'm a little nervous even right now, and I can't believe it, but I am. So thank you, sir, for taking your time and your schedule to include me in it. And I'm sure we'll run into each other. I do vote, so I think I'm in your district, but I don't know if I can fulfill what you're doing also. You're a heck of a person, and I respect and admire you very much, sir.
Well, thank you, Bob. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and I'm sure that we'll run into each other, maybe have dinner once in a while in Brentwood. It's a beautiful town, and I love the people there. I love the town, and it's one of my favorite cities to go to. So good luck in your retirement. Okay,
just remember, I'm retiring, so you're buying. Did you get that? He did. He didn't get that.
I think we've lost him, sir.
Yeah, no, it figures right when I was going to tag him for dinner. but that's all right. Okay.
Okay.
What else? We ready, Margaret?
Next, we'll have Jen Kwolek from Assemblymember Frazier's office, and I will go ahead and make Ms. Kwolek a panelist. Let's see. Jennifer, you're unmuted. You can go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and thank you so very much for having me join you all this evening. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. As this truly eventful year draws to a close, so does the role of three wonderful individuals who have served our city with such great distinction. Assemblymember Frazier wishes to express his sincerest thanks to you, Mayor Taylor, and City Council members Claudette Staton and Karen Rary. I myself am a new resident to Brentwood, and I have had the privilege of working alongside you guys, and in particular, Mayor Taylor, for 10 years now through both the County Board of Supervisors and then the last couple of years with the California State Assembly and Assemblymember Frazier's office. And it has been clearly evident that each of you truly love our city, have taken your role with our city and constituents very seriously, sacrificed a lot in service for our community, do what you believe to do is right, and individually and as a group, as our council, have protected the city and made it better for each and every one of us. Assemblymember Frazier and myself truly give thanks to each of you for your service and your dedication. Those leading us this evening will absolutely be missed for so many reasons. And to incoming Mayor Bryant and to council members Mendoza and Meyer, I truly look forward to working alongside you and collaborating on some different partnerships and welcome you all aboard. And I can't wait to see everybody soon. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Margaret, I'll go ahead and show the certificates that Jen provided from the Assembly member, since we have them in the office. This is for Councilmember Staton.
Thank you.
And we have one for Councilmember Rary.
Thank
and we'll
you.
get these to you shortly. And then they provided a nice framed one for the mayor from our Assembly member.
I'm having difficulty. I can't see anything. My page is just showing the December 8th meeting. But anyway, all of a sudden cameras are appearing. There we go. There we go. Now we can see
I've
something.
stopped sharing the
Well,
meeting.
I see everybody else. Move myself. Okay.
Okay, next we're going to move on to George Escutia from Senator Glazer's office. And let me just get to my list. Just bear with me, there's a little bit of maneuvering here tonight. George, go ahead and you'll need to activate your video if you're going to use it, and go ahead.
Good evening. My name is George Escutia, and I am District Director for California State Senator Steve Glazer. And I am very honored to be here on what is a memorable evening for the city of Brentwood. Mayor Taylor, the Senator would like to acknowledge your decades of public service, your extensive work on a variety of boards, your commissions and committees, and your many years of service to the people of Brentwood. During your term as mayor of Brentwood, and as a member of the council and to the school system, Brentwood has changed, and you will definitely be reflected back upon as one of the big movers and shakers that helped create that change. So this is a sad time that you're leaving the city of Brentwood, but it's a time to celebrate and reflect upon your many great accomplishments. We do have a Senate resolution that is being delivered to you. It's a nice big framed one on behalf of Senator Glazer, and we just want you to take some time off and relax a little and enjoy your retirement, but I know that you won't stay quiet, so I look forward to hearing from you soon. I also want to take this time to thank Council Members Rary and Council Member Staton for their dedicated service to the city of Brentwood and to the community. I've had the privilege and honor of working with both council members on different capacities, and Brentwood had some great advocates for all of for their concerns, for their concerns on legislation. So it was a great partnership with these council members, and we want to thank you. We also have certificates of accommodation that are being delivered to you as well. Thank you for your service. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back at the later hour when there's public comment for the new members, but I do want to congratulate incoming Mayor Joel Bryant. I look forward to working with him along with the senator in the next 2 years on continuing to make Brentwood better. Is it still better in Brentwood? Or is that trademarked by Bob Taylor? Is that a Bob Taylor trademark?
Yes, that's not a Bob Taylor trademark. It takes everybody, but Brentwood is still good to be there, and we're very happy to have that slogan. It is better in Brentwood.
It sure is. And my family who lives in Brentwood says that all the time. It reminds me every time I visit. And I also want to congratulate incoming members Jovita Mendoza and Susana Meyer, a member of the Glazer family. We look forward to the new chapter. It really is I don't know if it's a new chapter. It might just be a new book, because Mayor Taylor's book is probably a volume this big of all the great work he's done. But we're looking forward to the new chapter in Brentwood, and I look forward to working with you all and with the senator. So congratulations, Mayor Bob, on a successful career. I know you're the star tonight. I don't want to diminish the other people that are leaving and coming in, but you one of the first people I met in this job, and you can't forget someone like Bob Taylor. I don't know if it's the outfits or the personalities, they're both big. So enjoy your retirement, sir, and thank you for all your great work.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And let the senator know I very much appreciate his wonderful comments.
Okay.
Thank you, George.
And our next speaker will be Supervisor Diane Burgess. Diane, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Using technology to access. Good evening, everybody. I'm pleased to have been invited to come before you. I am here to congratulate Mayor Taylor on many years of contributing to your community. The folks that spoke before me talked about the history of all the things that you've done. I want to talk about the moment I met Mr. Taylor before he was the mayor, and he was running for mayor, and he came into 110 magazine where I worked at the time and bought an ad for me. And so I said, okay, what's your name? And he said, you don't know who I am? And the reason why I say that is because now when we talk about Mayor Bob Taylor, I say, you don't know who he is? Everybody knows who Mayor Taylor is. He has been an advocate. He has been a person that has created a lot of regional relationships and has really helped East County, not only Brentwood, but East County get on the map. So I want to thank you, Bob, for all of your hard work and your dedication to the community. I've provided a resolution that should be, hopefully you've received or you will receive shortly. I also want to take the time to recognize my friend, Supervisor Councilwoman Karen Rary, who has deep roots in this community, who has been giving to her community for many, many years, and we were lucky to have her serve. And I want to congratulate you on the work that you've done. And to Councilwoman Claudette Staton, we really appreciate all the work that you've done in the community, and we appreciate your service. And I will not be on later on to be able to congratulate the new members of the City Council, Mayor Bryant as the mayor, Councilwoman Mendoza, and Councilwoman Myers, but I want to congratulate you, and I look forward to working with you. And to all of you, I appreciate you working with me, even if you're not in office. I welcome you so that I can help you do more if you're interested. So I just want to congratulate everybody. You should have certificates for Councilwoman Rary and Councilwoman Staton, and just a heartfelt thank you from the community for all you do.
Thank you very much, Diane. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate you being on.
It's in your hands, Margaret.
It'll just take me a minute to get the list of speakers with their hands up, back up. And I have about 7 speakers with their hands up right now. I'll go ahead and call upon Twee Dow Jensen first. Go ahead, you're unmuted.
Okay. Good evening, Brentwood City Council. I'm Twee Dow Jensen, and I wanted to express my appreciation and say thank you for your service to Mayor Robert Taylor and Council members Karen Rary and Claudette Staton. As a former Brentwood Library Commissioner, I'm very grateful for your vote of confidence in me to represent Brentwood to the Contra Costa County Library Commission. So thank you so much for that. A big congratulations to the Mayor-elect, Joel Bryant, and our newest City Council members-elect, Jovita Mendoza and Susanna Meyer, for winning your elections. I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited to see the work that you'll be doing for our community. As you consider, and this is a message for everyone on the City Council, as you consider what to do next in filling the City Council seat vacated by Joel Bryant, I think the most fair process is to fill that seat. To fill that seat is to have a special election. Allowing Brentwood residents to choose the next City Council member demonstrates transparency and trust in the democratic process, not any sort of favoritism or accusations of special interest interference among City Council. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm so excited. Congratulations.
Next, we'll have Cinziana Todor, followed by Carolina Villaseca. Cinziana, go ahead. You're unmuted.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is such a special occasion, and I'm somewhat nervous because I really appreciate everything that our outgoing City Council members have done for our community. More or less, as you've heard all of my comments and you've seen all of my online contributions, but definitely public service is one of the highest levels of service people can do for their community. So the commitment for the outgoing City Council members, Karen Rary and Claudette Staton, as well as Mayor Taylor, are really appreciate it, and I wish them all the best in their future endeavors. I hope they will still contribute to our community and that they will still consider public service in their future. Anyway, we still have a lot of business going on around the city. So now I'm just being myself and bringing up some questions for the city government in general, city manager, and so on. So here are my questions. We need to definitely get an update for the community on the appeal sent for the marijuana farms and operations at the Brentwood city limit. Also, I want to bring up a couple of projects that are in the forefront of my attention because they both involve rezones, and this is a big no-no from my perspective for our community. I'm talking specifically about Inez Estate and the Dwelling Mori annexation and the pre-zone rezone whatever it ends up being. We really need to keep in mind that these applications are not in line with what our general plan requires and specifies. And again, the question stands, why have a general plan when we keep changing it? How will the fire, emergency, police, and schools be impacted by adding more housing? So something to keep in mind. Also, Streets of Brentwood Blight. I went there. I don't go there often for various reasons, but I want to address the blight. We have more closed storefronts than open ones, and I want definitely the city to respond to that and address economic development groups to address what's happening with that development and how they can stimulate economic development for that side of the city. I really appreciate your time, and I will definitely chime in later on in the meeting. Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Carolina Villaseca, followed by Sue Harper. Carolina.
Good afternoon. Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, City Council. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Bryant for all his years of service. You have made Brentwood a better place. Also to congratulate Councilwoman Rary and Councilwoman Staton on their years of service. Thank you very much. It is deeply appreciated. Congratulate Olita Mendoza and Susanna Meyer on their incoming terms. We look forward to seeing what you will do, and congratulate Joel Bryant on ascending to mayor. I would also like to have an update. This is the second time I called in, and actually this is my third meeting to call in to ask for the same thing, which is transparency on the procedure for filling the vacant seat. I have seen in other organizations around Brentwood where there was definite favoritism and there was backroom dealings, and people were appointed who were not the best qualified. So I would really strongly urge you that whatever process it is that you're going to use to fill Joel Bryant's empty seat, the citizens of Brentwood need to know what that is, and it needs to be during public meeting, nothing behind closed doors. Number two, the DeWillie Moore project, annexing and rezoning homes, once again, that's not part of the process. And my concern is that the project is going from low density, lots of like 6,000 to 12,000 feet, to high density, approximately 3,000 to 4,000 feet. And that is a huge difference in terms of build out, and that will definitely impact our fire service. And so that is a huge concern. Lastly, I'd also like to piggyback off what Cesiana said, and there's supposed to be apartment buildings built there at the streets of Brentwood, and I'm not sure who's going to want to live there when there's absolutely nothing going on in the streets themselves. More stores are closing than opening. I'm not sure who manages that or what the agreement is with the city, but that definitely needs to be addressed. If not, it's gonna be a ghost town. Thank you very much for your time.
And if I could remind the speakers that have already spoken to unraise their hand, I'll go ahead and call on Sue Harper next, and she'll be followed by Donald Smith. Sue, go ahead.
Hi. Yep. Hi. Sue Harper, Brentwood resident of 16 years. And I would also like to address the vacancy seat on the City Council. And I understand that this can either be by election, a special election, or by appointment by the council. Understand the concerns about transparency and everything, but an election is, an election is very expensive and really unnecessary. I think the voters have already spoken in the last election, and that we should take the second highest vote getter to be appointed to the seats. That would be Karen Rary, I believe. So I think that there's, alleviates any backroom deals, any favoritism or anything. The voters have already spoken, and to me, that makes the most sense, and I'd like to hear if that is not the reason why anyone would feel that we should go through the expense of a special election. Thank you.
The next speaker is Donald Smith. Donald Smith will be followed by Rod Floor. Donald, go ahead.
Hello. Okay. Hello, I'm Donald Smith. I live in Brentwood in the Trilogy neighborhood. I wanted to congratulate Bob Taylor and thank him for his years of service and being our mayor for so long, and prior to that, being on the city council. I also wanted to thank the two council members who have been on the council for some time and have done a good job with representing the city and moving us forward, Karen Rary and Claudette Staten. And in particular, I wanted to congratulate and welcome Ovita Mendoza and Susanna Meyer in their election to the council. It's going to be an interesting new year, especially with COVID, but I have a lot of confidence in the two new members and the remaining member, and I think everything is going to go smoothly. As to the special election, or filling the seat vacated by Joel Bryant, I tend to agree with the last speaker who said that special election would be expensive and not particularly necessary, in as much as we have had a recent election and the number 2 vote getter was Karen Rary, and it makes sense to me that the council would appoint her to fill that seat. If they decide not to do that, what I would really urge is that the process be made known to the public, the steps that are going to be taken and when they will be taken, and how the public can participate, and to make sure that there's no people left out because there was a lack of communication as to when and where these decisions were going to be made. I thank you for your time, and I'll give you back your 50 seconds.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and unmute Mr. Floor now. Rod, go ahead.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay. Thank you, Margaret. Mayor Taylor, what can I say that I did not already say last time I spoke here? You're an icon in this town, and you will be missed here in these chambers. Even as we've had our own runs, you've always been fair to me and to everyone who comes to speak here. At the end of the day, you've made sure that everyone was at least able to have their say. You're a positive and encouraging presence, entertaining too, I might add. I say that with love. And when these restrictions are finally lifted, I hope to see you out and about in this town for many years to come. Councilmember Staten, it is probably advice you that I've disagreed with many votes you have taken, but I've been quick to point out to anyone who will listen that you've been honest about the fact that you believe residential growth is good for Brentwood, and in fact you ran on it. So I appreciate that you have a position and have stuck with it. As you leave this council, I encourage you to take another look at Brentwood and maybe see it a little bit more the way we in the Alliance see it, the way we believe most Brentwoodians see it. If you have a change of heart, join with us. We're always here. I wish the best of luck to you. Council member Karen Rary, you've done so much for so many, I don't even know where to start. So many of us owe so much to you for your tenacious leadership in moving this city forward and making sure our citizens are represented and taken care of. Ironically, it may well have been your accessibility to the people that accounted for your very slender loss in the mayoral race, as some people on social media could not resist making you a target just because you were there and gave a pass to others who hid in their cocoons. You set the standard for integrity, competence, compassion, public outreach, and effectiveness on this council. There has been a rising chorus of thank you, Karen Rary, on social media as more and more people in the city have come to realize what you have done for them. I honestly don't know how we can go on without you on the council. If there's any justice in this town, we will see you back up there very soon. It seems like there are still so many people in this city who are just getting to know you and understand what you do for all of us. You have more than earned your place here. If there's any justice, you'll be appointed in as second highest vote getter, a long Brentwood tradition, and the preference of nearly 70% of respondents in our recent straw poll. You are the best, and we appreciate you. So this is not goodbye, but see you soon. Thank you, Karen Rary. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you. The next speaker is John Fink, followed by Danny Dorman. Mr. Fink, I'll go ahead and unmute you now. Go ahead.
Margaret, I am so sorry. I did not put my hand up, so I apologize. But I wish Lolita and Susanna the best, and I want to thank Joel for his commitment to being the mayor, and I want to thank Bob Taylor for all of his efforts. I will never forget the turkey suit, and that's why I love him. Claudette, you are very forward and very well managed over the years. And Karen, you know how much I care about you and everything you've done for the city. So those are my comments. I did not raise my hand, but I do thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Mr. Dorman, I'll go ahead and unmute you now. Go ahead.
Great. Sorry. Thank you very much. All right. The Brown Act. The Brown Act. The Brown Act. For those who don't know what that is, Google it. For those who do know, which should be all of you, you are currently under the Brown Act. And I say that to say this. I'm a big fan of Karen Rary. As others said, she was the second highest vote getter. I don't know why we'd have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to, basically fill the seat that should already be filled by her. But what does the Brown Act, like I said, you guys should know. So I won't go into the lengthy details. But this is how you stop backroom dealings, because it's supposed to be out in the open. And if two or more of you got together, even if it was over a sandwich and a coffee, and started planning of how to fill the vacancy, you are in violation of the Brown Act. So you can go ahead and do whatever it is you're going to do. I think in the best interest of the city, you should go ahead and go with the second highest vote getter. That seems to make sense to me. And I actually did this out of order, unfortunately, because I just want to make sure people looked up the Brown Act. The only other thing, and this is what it just drives me crazy, is the Planning Commission and their rubber stamping, and therefore your rubber stamping of various things. I won't even get into the whole continuance thing. I will just jump right down to the Dwelly-Maury annexation, which is in violation of the Cortez-Knox-Hertzberg Act of 2000. And again, folks, Google that. All right? I looked it up for every county, including ours. And, oh, wow. Sorry about that. My Google discovered I was trying to find a place. That's how interesting this is. But bottom lining it is that the Planning Commission shouldn't even have brought this forth. The commission works for you, and you guys work for us. And it may sound like a joke, but it is thoroughly true. You guys work for us. The Planning Commission serves at your pleasure. You guys serve at our pleasure. And even though it's going to be a change with Susanna, the people sitting in these chairs right now fall under the Brown Act. So if you don't know what that is, please Google it. Thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone who's leaving and everyone who's coming in.
The next speaker is Marisol Velez. I'll go ahead and unmute you now, and she'll be followed by Maribel Mendoza. Marisol, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you to Bob, Claudette, and Karen so much. Karen, you've done so much for Deer Ridge, and that will not be forgotten. And I am so excited to have, Jovita and Susanna representing us on council. And I'm really looking forward to, Mayor Bryant, listening to the people as well in the city of Brentwood. I just wanted to say that in regards to the vacant seat, as others have said, I do believe that the people of Brentwood have spoken, and that I think to avoid the unnecessary cost of a special election, that we really do need to place Karen Rary in that open seat. It's the right thing to do, and it's listening to the people. And if you can't put Karen Rary, then I say go for it. Let's do a special election, because that seat needs to be by the people, not elected or put in there appointed by the current council. And the other thing that I also wanted to talk about was the Dwelly Maury project. I just want to make sure that there's a lot of communication and clarity when it comes to that project. I think we should stick to the general plan. There should not be any rezoning at all, or changing of that. So again, I'm hoping that with the new city council that we can definitely have clarity and communication, because there shouldn't be any sort of application for rezoning in terms of the Dwelly Maury. So those are just it. And congratulations again. Super excited for Jovita and Susanna. Congratulations, and I'm looking forward to the new year.
The next speaker is Marival Mendoza, followed by Kathy Griffin. I'll go ahead and unmute you now. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. This is Maribel Mendoza. I am a co-founder of Hijas del Campo within this area. I did want to say congratulations, a huge congratulations to Jovita Mendoza on her new role and position within Brentwood City Council. I think that Brentwood is going to be so happy with this new appointee. She's going to be great. And Susanna, congratulations to you both. The reason that I am here is, one, because of Jovita. She's my sister, very excited for her. And also because of the Dwelly Maury. This is something that hits very close to home because of the community that I service, which are a lot of the farm workers in the area. And so rezoning of this land will displace so many families and so many people who depend on the livelihood, that they bring in from working these fields. Brentwood and the area, that's what we're known for. And so to rezone is displacing households, it's displacing families and children. You're looking at about 242 plus families that are going to be having to look for work, right? Not only that, where are they going to work if you take the work away from them? They live here, they work here, they've been living here for so long, and I think that people in that district have been overlooked for so long. And so I just really hope that if they want to sell, then just keep it as agricultural zoning, and then, sell it to somebody who wants to keep the land as is, and not just because you want to be, bring in more houses, help the people. So that's what I have to say for now and for tonight, and I'll be back. And congratulations to Jovita. So excited.
Thank you. The final speaker I have with their hand raised is Kathy Griffin. Kathy, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you now. Go ahead.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to call in and thank Mayor Taylor for his service, and give a huge shout out to his wife Pam for supporting him all these years. I hope the two of you enjoy your future years here in Brentwood. And I want to thank Karen Rary for her service, and wanted to let her know that she's been one of the most dedicated and influential council persons that I've known in the 23 years I've lived here in Brentwood. You are now the role model for all council persons by being prepared each and every 2 weeks, researching agenda items, asking more of staff, benchmarking with other cities, serving on a myriad of subcommittees, questioning rules, regulations, and processes, and challenging actions at every step of the way. You bring important issues to council agendas as well. It has been you who questions zoning ordinances, you that has pulled items from consent calendars, you that has met with me and other residents to find out what we need and want, and to help us understand city decisions. You have ordered sound studies. You have kept us informed of the COVID health threat and spearheaded helping local businesses. And it was you who publishes notices of important meetings, events, and actions in our city. You that has volunteered tirelessly. Karen, I want you to know that your conscientiousness is held in the highest regard. Your knowledge and contributions have been invaluable, and your energy is infectious. You are a very amazing woman, and Brentwood is lucky to have you. I hope that you will continue to make a difference in our town in any capacity possible. Thank you very much, Karen. And as for the council seat, the new council that is seated with a vacancy, it is clear that the at-large voting public in Brentwood wanted you and Joel, Karen, to serve on this council. With less than 2% of the vote separating you two, and you and Joel garnering almost 57% of the mayoral vote, it's clear to me and many other Brentwood residents you should be selected to fill the vacant two-year term on the council. Lastly, congratulations and thank you so much to Jovita Mendoza and Susanna Meyer for stepping up to serve their community. We welcome you wholeheartedly to the council and look forward to working with you. And we know that you'll follow in Karen's footsteps with all the research, thoroughly being prepared, bringing fresh ideas, making staff work a little bit harder, and making sure that you understand what's making Brentwood tick and understand the decisions that you will make and the effects that they will have on all of us. Thank you so much, and look forward to future council meetings.
Thank you. We have one more speaker, Kay Moreno Correa. I'll go ahead and unmute you now. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank Mayor Taylor, Karen, and Ms. Danton for their service. And I want to congratulate Ms. Mendoza and Susanna for their recent acquired seats on the council. I just wanted to check in today because I'm hoping that we are able to receive information in regards to the appeal for the cannabis grow farms. And also wanted to say that the community of Brentwood has spoken in regards to the current vacant seat, and I do believe that Councilwoman Rary should be in that position since she gained the second highest vote. I do want to say that Councilwoman Rary has been very involved in our community and was very involved and very vocal with the county in regards to the cannabis growth farm and just really informing the community. So I just wanted to reach out and thank her for her service, and I want to thank Mayor Taylor and Councilwoman Stanton for their time, and very important, I just want to congratulate the new council members coming on board. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. And with that, we have no additional speakers with their hands raised. If the people that do have their hands raised could go ahead and unraise them.
Doesn't have the opportunity to. Margaret.
Excuse me?
Hello.
Margaret, and during public speaking, I have something to say, and I would think that Councilmember Rary and would both have something to say also.
So
somebody needs to mute this. Are we losing it?
Mayor, may I jump in for a moment?
Sure. Did you hear my comments also?
Yes.
Okay.
So while we're waiting on Margaret, if I could just interject real quick, 2 brief staff updates. There were several questions about the marijuana appeals that the city filed with the county. We have not yet heard back from the county when they plan to respond to those appeals. So if there's additional questions about the county's process, we encourage the citizens to follow up directly with the county. And then secondly, December 15th, next Tuesday will be a city council meeting, a regular city council meeting because of the holidays. And the agenda item of concern related to the vacancy will be discussed, including the options that the state elections code outlines, either for a special election or for an appointment, and then if there is an appointment desired, what kind of a process you want to follow. So all of that will be very transparent and disclosed in the staff report that comes out Thursday or Friday of this week for the meeting next Tuesday. So just wanted to make that clear for all the public who had concerns about that. Thank you.
And is this appropriate time, Tim, for comments from council and the mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Berry, would you like to make some comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, this community means a lot to me, and over the past 4 years, I've really enjoyed trying to make a difference for the community, listening to what people wanted, and trying to bring the best to Brentwood, to make it better in Brentwood. And it's been a thrill for me. I feel like I've done what the people elected me to do, and I hope that they are happy with the results of my time on the city council, and I wish all of the council members coming on and the new mayor-elect Joel Bryant the best in the coming years, and I know you guys are going to do a fabulous job in leading our city into the future. And Mayor Taylor, you really have done so much for our community. I think about all of the different things you've brought to this community, from the turkey soup, which you will never live down, to just all the transportation projects and the gazebo, and just helping revitalize the downtown area. And I want to thank you for all that you have done for our community. And I wish you the best in the years to come and in your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Councilmember Claudette.
Yes. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to all of the people that have recognized me, Congressman McNerney, Senator Glazer, several members in Fraser, Supervisor Diane Burgess. Thank you so much for your recognition. And most importantly, I want to thank the citizens of Brentwood for giving me the honor of serving on the Brentwood City Council for the last 4 years. It was a tremendous opportunity, and I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Mayor Taylor, you know, I don't know what else to say to you other than, you know, you've been a pillar in the community, and I'm excited to see that so many people have recognized that. And I just thank you for being who you are, and I know that you're going to go fishing, so that'll be great for you. And I just, you know, basically wish everybody a very happy holiday season, and stay healthy.
Mayor, you're on mute.
And just as a reminder, Mayor, there will be additional time later in the agenda when we recognize the rest of the council formally for additional comments by the council members if they'd like.
Okay, well, I'm all prepared right now to say what I'm going to say, if you don't mind. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Okay. As I was stating, very rarely do I prepare something in advance when I'm speaking, except for agenda type items. But I did put something together, and I'd like to kind of state it right now. The mayor would like to thank his reverend constituents for their continued support over the last 16 years. I need to thank previous council members who worked as a team to forge the progress of Brentwood. Bob Brockman, Chris McNeil, Brandon Ritchie, Steve Barr, Eric Stonebarger, Gene Kerr, Bailey Graywall, and our current council members here tonight, Vice Mayor Bryant, council members Johnny Rodriguez, Claudette Staden, and Karen Rary. A special thank you to employees that have assisted and given their utmost dedication to council and the public. Chris Ehlers, the past assistant Public Works Director, and the entire Public Works Department. Yvette Tolan, April Brown in Legal, Margaret Wembley, Jen Schultz, Gail Leach, Peggy Berkman in the city. The manager's office, Lisa Wins for assistance for me in my first 8 years, and Diane Williams for me in my second 8 years. Carrie Breen of Finance, Utility Building, all the staff, Parks, Rec, and they put up so much, the Christmas tree, concerts in the park, lighting, special events, and these type of things put our community together. Police Chief Hansen, who has the best police force department in the country, HR, Community Development, and all other integral divisions and staff that serve our great city. I tell you what, all these people worked while I was in office, and I just want to say I want to thank all the staff, because the staff, along with their counterparts, are the part that make the city what it is. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all and the previous council, because there is always life for another council after council. This city has survived since 1949, and I can see it surviving up through many, many hundreds of years more. And each council will make it better. That's how I read it. So, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to serve you. Okay, next. Where are we at? Tim, anybody?
Mayor, we're under informational reports from council members, committees, and liaisons.
Okay, let me try to get my red agenda back up. Okay, then we'll start with Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, since the last time we met, I attended the Airport Land Use Commission meeting, as well as participated in the Community Chest Toy Drive. And there was also a mayor's conference since the last time we met, and I have nothing else to report.
Councilmember Rary.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Since the last time we met, I participated in the Innovation Center at Brentwood Virtual Town Hall, the Senior Center raffle turkey giveaway, where we gave out about 5 dozen turkeys to our local senior citizens. I also participated with the Arrow of Light Scouts to discuss the different responsibilities of a council person and how they as scouts or individuals can be better citizens within our community. And also the virtual city Christmas tree lighting, which was fun. It was short, but it was very enjoyable. And that is all I have to report. Thank you.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes, I also participated in the senior turkey giveaway. I think our staff and at the Parks and Recs department did a wonderful job in organizing that there at the senior center. So I want to recognize them as well. The staff there, like I said, the Parks and Recs department. I also participated in the Youth Commission regarding a community meeting that they had pertaining to the youth center. It was a well put together meeting, a lot of input from youth, but also from different community leaders. So I just wanted to, that's all I have for right now, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Staten.
Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, since our last meeting, I just basically attended a few meetings, and that's all I have to report.
Okay. I attended one meeting, and my last was CCTA, and hopefully we'll proceed with keeping that seat alive. And now I think we move into consent calendar. Am I correct, City Manager?
That is correct, Mayor.
Okay. Moving into consent, I'll entertain a motion. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve items B1 through B11.
I have a first. I have a second. Are there any comments, questions? Okay, we'll call for roll call vote. Margaret?
Vice Mayor Bryant?
Aye.
Councilmember Rary?
Aye.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Staten?
Aye.
Mayor Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So it was unanimous, correct?
Correct. Motion carries unanimous.
Okay. Then we move into business items, correct?
Correct.
We need an independent auditor's report, comprehensive annual financial report. Financial will be received by the city. Carrie?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, it's Christine tonight.
Well, that's good.
So I want to say good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight we are presenting the city's 2019-2020 comprehensive...
Can I stop you for a minute, Christine? If we get people to mute their thank you, because you have an echo.
Thank you, Councilmember Rary. Tonight we are presenting the city's 2019-20 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, or CAFR, along with the results of the city's annual financial audit. We have Catherine Ewan, the partner in charge of the audit, here to present the audit results to you. This was Catherine's first year as the in-charge audit partner, taking over for Amy Meyer to meet auditor rotation requirements. Typically at this time, I would also present a summary of the financial results of the fiscal year just ended June 30. Since staff already provided the summary to the council in a budget update in October, I will only briefly remind the viewers of the financial results before turning the presentation over to Catherine. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic forced the city to reduce spending and postpone recently approved strategic initiatives. Although the pandemic would only affect the final 3 months of the fiscal year, at the time projected revenue losses from the economic shutdown were significant and turned a previously projected surplus into a $1 million projected deficit. Fortunately, the worst-case scenario did not occur in the final 3 months of the 1920 fiscal year. Resiliency in the housing market, economic stimulus from the federal government, and greater than anticipated expenditure reductions throughout the city all play key roles in avoiding the worst-case outcome. Several key revenues, including sales tax, hotel tax, business license, development revenue,
and property tax all held up better than originally expected. All of these factors combined with a one-time gain in our investment portfolio allowed the general fund to finish the year with a $1.2 million surplus, or around 2% of operating revenues. At the end of the year, the surplus was transferred per City Council policy to the Budget Stabilization Fund. After the transfer, the Budget Stabilization Fund was $17.2 million, or about 31% of general fund expenditures. This fund will allow the city to fund future pension and retiree medical cost increases without impacting services provided by the general fund. At year end, the unassigned reserve in the general fund was $18.8 million, equal to about 30% of annual budgeted operating expenses. In addition to the 30% reserve, the city has set aside $7.7 million for the successor agency payment plan, $2.5 million for the police department Fifth Beat strategic initiative, $200,000 for other strategic initiatives, $700,000 for future Brentwood Boulevard improvements, and $500,000 for the next general plan update. The city's water, wastewater, and solid waste enterprise funds have been comparatively more insulated from the impacts of the pandemic. The enterprises are posting results in line with what was projected in the rate study. However, due to the current economic crisis, delinquent balances are higher at the end of this year than the prior fiscal year. Additionally, the city's internal service and replacement funds continue to be funded to keep the city well positioned to replace our infrastructure and assets in the future as needed. While the focus of this agenda item is the results of the recently completed fiscal year, on January 26th, staff will present council with a fiscal year 2021 budget update, along with proposed mid-fiscal year budget adjustments. Tonight, we're also presenting you with the annual financial awards received by the city over the past year. These include the awards for excellence in capital budgeting received from the California Society of Municipal Finance Officers for the 1920 Capital Improvement Program budget. Also, the Excellence in Financial Reporting Award was received from the Government Finance Officers Association for the 1819 CAFR. Recognition of the city's adherence to the highest standards of governmental reporting is very important, as it impacts the city's ability to obtain favorable financing in the credit markets. In concluding this portion of the presentation, I would like to thank the Council for the continued policy guidance and the finance staff who put a great deal of effort into preparing the CAFR. At this point, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Catherine Yoon from Mays and Associates to present the audit results. Catherine?
Thank you, Christine. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Hi. Thank you for having me today. I'm Catherine Yuan. I'm the engagement partner for this year's, fiscal year 20 financial statement audit. It is my pleasure tonight to be here and present to you the audit results. So a little bit about our firm. We have been in business since 1979, and since 1987, we started auditing municipalities in the Bay Area. And currently, we have about 200 municipal audits conducted every year, out of which about over 50 of them are cities and towns, and we audit about 40 CAFRs each year, which stands for Comprehensive Annual Financial Reports. Most importantly, we are independent of the city of Brentwood. What we completed this year, we audited the city's financial statements, we also recalculated the appropriation limit calculation that was done by the city. So that if you recall, that's the spending limit annually that the city needed to recalculate. And also, we issued a report on the internal control over financial reporting and on compliance with bond covenants and other matters. What still needs to be done is the single audit. What that stands for is a federal grant audit. Annually, if a municipality spent over $750,000 of federal funds, it is required to have a federal fund audit done, which is called a single audit. Our plan is to complete the single audit in the springtime, January and February of 2021. The standards we followed for the audit this year were the auditing standards generally accepted in the United States, which all auditors in the United States follows, and also the government auditing standards, which are standards that are a little bit higher than the regular auditing standards that have more steps that we needed to complete in order to render our opinion. So for our audit, what happened during the audit is that we usually, there are two phases of the audit. The first phase of the audit happened in May 2020, what we call the interim. So during that time, we try to gain an understanding of the internal control environment of the city through interview of city staff. We also examine the records to make sure that what the city staff claims that they have done really actually happened. And on a rotational basis, we will test transactional testing. Now, if you notice, May 2020 is not a usual time. We were in the beginning of this long pandemic. And so this year, we actually conducted the entire audit remotely. And I do want to, especially at this time, thank the city staff for their cooperation, because it was not an easy audit this year, because there was a lot of going back and forth in communication because we were off-site. So I think what made this audit to be able to complete it on time, just like every year that you receive the audit report at the same time, but this year what made it more significantly important is that for staff to be able to deal with the increased workload because of the pandemic and be able to still complete this financial statements and the audit on time is pretty significant. And I think part of it has to do with the records being stored paperlessly. So I think staff has already have a really good record keeping system, so it has made it easier. So it made our job a lot easier this year, comparatively. You know, it's a hard year for everybody, but it was comparatively a very smooth audit, and I do very much want to thank staff for their patience with us and also their assistance. So for the final phase of the audit, we also have completed it remotely this year. It happened in September. And what happened during that time is that city staff has already put together the financial statement. We came in to verify the data that is presented on the comprehensive annual financial statement, which is presented tonight. The results of the audit, the financial audit received a modified opinion. I know it does not sound very exciting, but it is the highest level of opinions we can give our auditees. That means it's a clean opinion. In terms of the recalculation of the appropriation limit, we double-checked the staff's calculation, and we did not note any exception. There were also no matters reported on the bond covenant letter. Now, I would like to give you a few highlights on the comprehensive annual financial report. Why it is called the comprehensive financial report is that because the the governmental accounting standards require the city to prepare a basic financial statement. However, city staff and probably the council, your city decided that you want to go one step further than what is minimally required. So that means that the city, this report in front of you, besides meeting the basic financial statements standard, is that it also has an introductory section, statistical section, more comprehensive footnote disclosure. The idea is to provide products for the readers to have a better understanding of the city's financial position. And on top of that, the city has decided to submit the CAFR for the consideration of a award. The award is given by the Government Finance Officers Association. I'm sorry, I usually call it GFOA, but it's Government Finance Officers Association for the excellence in financial reporting. Last year, what's in front of you now is last year's award for 2019. The city has received the CAFR award, so congratulations. And it is my understanding that the city plans to submit this year's, the fiscal year 20 CAFR for a award consideration again. Now, if any members of the public or anybody wants a very high-level summary of the financial statements, what I would recommend is to look at the management discussion and analysis, which is on pages from 4 to 15 of the CAFR, which explains the fluctuations of balances between fiscal year 20 and 19. Also, the statistical section is a very good place to look at trends because it discloses the financial trends for the last 10 years. In conjunction with the audit opinion, we also issued this other report called the Memorandum on Internal Control and Required Communications. Unlike the CAFR that was prepared by city staff, the Memorandum on Internal Control and Required Communications is a report that purely prepared by the auditors. The goal of it is to communicate any issues that we've noticed that we would like to bring to your attention. Two types of issues that we usually bring to your attention. The first type is control deficiencies, and the other type is anything else that we would like to tell you about, like upcoming accounting pronouncements. So we call those the other matters. The definition of a control deficiency, essentially during the audit, we look at the design and the operation of the city, and we evaluate to see if the current design or operation will allow management or employees in a normal course of their business to detect any misstatements of the financial statements in a timely manner. If that doesn't happen, if the operation or the design does not allow management to do so, then we call that a control deficiency. Now, if the control deficiencies can lead to a material misstatement of the financial statements, we call that material weakness. If for any other type of control deficiencies that we would like to bring to your attention, those are called the significant deficiencies. For this year's audit, we did not note any material weakness or significant deficiencies on the Memorandum on Internal Controls and Required Communications. Finally, I would like to thank City Council for your direction this year and your input during the audit. And again, thank you, staff, for all your assistance and patience with us, because it was a challenging year, and congratulations on issuing the CAFR during this normal time.
Okay, thank you so much for your report. Pretty right on, and a very just a great report. Anytime we find no deficiencies, that's all good. Any clarifying questions? I'll start with Vice Mayor Bryant.
No, Mr. Mayor, I have no questions.
Councilmember Rary.
No, sir.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Staten. Councilmember Staten.
No, but it's a good way to go out. Thank you.
Okay.
Drop the mic.
And I have no questions either. Margaret, it's up to you.
At this time, if there are people wishing to speak on this item, if you could use the raise your hand feature in WebEx. We didn't receive any emails on this prior to the start of the council meeting. And, oops, sorry. Okay, just a moment. Let me just see. Hold on.
Shouldn't be. Are we there?
Sorry, yes, I was just getting myself back, and I don't see anybody with their hands raised to speak on this item.
Okay. I'll ask for comments. Vice Mayor Bryant?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank everyone involved, all of our staff, for the outstanding job that they always do on this. I'm not surprised at all. They're a recipient of these awards, and just keep up the good work. Thank you.
Councilmember Rary?
I would also like to just thank staff. It's not just the finance department, but it's bringing all the staff, the directors together to determine what budget we are going to have. And but the finance department brings it all together, and they've done an outstanding job long before I got on the council and continue to do a stellar job. And I just want to thank them all for their hard work.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes, I would also like to take this time to thank all of our staff that were part of putting this wonderful report together. So thank you.
Councilmember Staten.
Yes, I would like to thank the staff for all that they've done to pay attention to the people's money, and I'm happy to know that I'm leaving with a clean slate. Financing is just the staff has always done a wonderful job, and so thank you, staff, again. And I hope that in the future we'll still have those wonderful reports.
Okay, and the mayor echoes what everybody said. And again, I want to thank the audit persons, the company, and I'm sure we'll probably see you again next year. I think we get audited every year, so Joel, you better watch it. There is no council action required, and so moving right into resolution, reciting the facts of the general municipal election held. So, Margaret, I need a staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The general municipal election was held in the city on Tuesday, November 3rd. California Elections Code 10263 states that upon a completion of the canvass of the results by the county elections official and prior to the installation of new officers, the City Council shall adopt a resolution reciting the facts of the election. As indicated by the results tabulated by the county, the names of the person elected for mayor for a full term of 4 years is Joel Bryant. The person elected from council member for District 1 for a full term of 4 years is Jovita Mendoza. And the person elected as council member for District 3 for a full term is Susanna Meyer. At this time, it would be appropriate to this evening for council to go ahead and adopt this resolution. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Okay, do we I'm not showing that. Do we, Margaret, you have public speaking first?
Clarifying questions of council first and then, or of staff first.
Okay. Any clarifying questions? I'll start with the Vice Mayor.
No questions, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Rary?
No, sir.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
No question, sir.
Councilmember Staton?
No, Mr. Mayor.
And the mayor has no questions either.
Okay.
Margaret?
For public comments, we didn't receive any public comments via email for this. We do have one speaker who wishes to speak, and that would be Cinziana Todor, and I will go ahead and unmute Cinziana now. Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to congratulate Susanna Myers and my good and amazing friend, Jovita Mendoza, on their success in this past election. I am very excited to see both of them representing Brentwood and actually truly representing Brentwood voters. We have seen a lot of examples in the past of special interest serving and favoring special interest groups, and I really hope in the future this will stop by having them really, again, representing the voters of Brentwood. Mr. Bryant, I really hope you understand people are watching. And I really need to pause here because you know we are watching. I really hope you make the right decision when it comes to filling the empty seat that has been vacated from you moving into the mayor's seat. I'm not sure what the background noise is, but I hope we get a better IT service next time with the new council supporting the city. So anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm excited for the two councilwomen representing, again, the Brentwood voters. I wish them great success. And again, I'm really grateful for the outgoing council members for their public service. And I hope to see great things happening for our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Cinziana. I still had two hands raised, and I'm not sure if they were from earlier. I still see a hand raised from John Fink, and I wasn't sure if he still wanted to speak. And Maribel Mendoza, did you want to speak on this item? I'll go ahead and unmute you now. Maribel, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'll pass at this time.
Okay, thank you. John, did you
And
want to...
I don't know why my hand is still raised. I am sorry, Margaret.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And
so where am I at? Was that it, Margaret?
That's it, sir.
Okay, so we close, where am I? Help me out here.
I think...
Do we ask for a vote now?
Yeah, I think council comments and then a motion.
Okay. Any council discussion on this, Vice Mayor Bryant?
No, sir.
Karen Rary?
No, sir.
Don Rodriguez?
No, Mayor, I don't think so. When is it a time for us to be able to recognize people? Is this the time, or is that going to be later?
No, that's going to be later. We're coming.
Okay, thank you.
And let's see here. Councilmember Claudette?
No, Mr. Mayor.
And then I, nothing. So now we would entertain a motion. I'll take a first.
Was there a motion on that?
No, that's why I said I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion as detailed in the staff report, adopt a resolution regarding the general municipal election held on November 3rd, 2020.
I second.
I have a first. I have a second. Any discussion? We'll do the roll call vote. Margaret, please.
Vice Mayor Bryant?
Aye.
Councilmember Rary?
Aye.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Tim, you want to hop in now and help me out with the closing here in the sense of what you were chatting about earlier?
I think that's resolved now, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so are we all good? I think Johnny Rodriguez wanted to say something.
We have a proclamation here recognizing the efforts of all staff members employed with Brentwood Union School District. Was that not going to be done this evening?
Oh, yes, it is.
C1.
I don't have that on my.
We have C2 first, Mayor. I'm sorry. Once you've taken a motion, yeah, you've completed that. So C2 is next.
Okay, can you help me with it? I don't have it here. Are you there?
Margaret, go ahead.
I'm sorry, for which item?
I thought we did C2 already.
We did C2.
We did C2.
D1.
D1.
I got it. It's an educator proclamation.
Right.
And this is recognizing. What is it? Is it all the schools or just Heritage High School?
It's Brentwood Union School District and Liberty Union High School.
Okay, because I don't have that. Can somebody help me with this?
Mr. Mayor, I have a proclamation, a copy. I believe it may be the same one. It does say Heritage High School at the top, but the proclamation includes everyone.
Okay, can you read that, Joel? I do not. I do not.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Brentwood recognizes the importance and impact that our local schools and education system have in making Brentwood an excellent community, and whereas the Contra Costa County Health Officer issued a shelter-in-place order on March 16th, 2020, following various declarations, assessments, and guidance from the Governor of California, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Health Organization, and the President of the United States. And whereas in response to this and subsequent orders, local educators and students were forced to adjust to distance learning, and whereas with distance learning, every process in the education system had to change, including but not limited to new lesson plans and new software and technology for access to lessons, classes, and classwork review. And whereas while it has been challenging, many educators and staff members at Heritage High School have risen to the occasion, making the continuing education of the Brentwood youth a priority. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Brentwood does hereby recognize the efforts of all staff members at Heritage High School with appreciation for the continued quality education provided to the youth of Brentwood, dated the 8th day of December 2020. And I do want to include the Liberty Union School District as well as the Brentwood school districts in this proclamation.
And I don't think we have any discussion. This was just everybody being warranted. Thank you. Am I correct?
We do have our two superintendents as attendees. You might want to call on them to see if they have any comments.
Okay. Who's first?
I'll go ahead and call Dana Eaton first. And Dana, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. I just want to say thank you to the council for recognizing all of our tremendous educators and all the hard work that they've been doing behind the scenes. We appreciate the ongoing partnership with the city and the community and appreciate your ongoing support. And we're all excited to get schools back as soon as we can to get kids in person. Thank you.
And I'll unmute Eric Volta now. Eric, go ahead.
Thank you, Margaret. I just want to thank the Honorable Mayor and the esteemed council members for this honor. Our people have been working very hard, and every single person, whether it's campus supervisors checking on kids in their homes, whether it's bus drivers taking computers to homes, administrators checking on students, and the hard work of the teachers. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Liberty High teacher, Mayor Bob, that helped you with your technical issues earlier this evening. So, if I
Whoa.
said it correctly. But thank you very much, Mayor. And any complaints that the council might have with me as superintendent, remember, it's all your fault. You're the one that, it was your vote that put me in the principalship at Freedom in 2002. So you're the one that started my career in this area. So they have you to blame, Bob. Thank you.
That's all right. I think you've done a wonderful job, which means I made a great selection. So that's how I handle that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, sir. And so I think do we need a motion to adjourn? How do I do this? I need to do I would entertain a motion to adjourn, and that would be it's called Sine Dahi.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
believe another item on the agenda, D2. You just did D1. There's another item regarding thanking the council and you for the service.
Oh, Tim was supposed to step in and take care of this. Tim, where are you?
I'm here, and we've asked the Vice Mayor to go ahead and read the proclamation for the outgoing mayor and council.
Okay.
If you have it, if not, I can read it. I'll show it while Vice Mayor's looking it up.
I have it here. Let me pull this up.
Nice.
This is a proclamation in honor of Mayor Robert Bob Taylor. Whereas Robert Bob Taylor has an impressive 28 years of service to the Brentwood community, and whereas prior to his election to the City Council, he served 12 years on the Liberty Union High School District Board of Trustees, having served twice as president of the board, and whereas in November of 2004 he was elected to the Brentwood City Council, and in 2006 he was elected to a 2-year term as mayor, and was then re-elected to 4-year terms as mayor in 2008, 2012, and 2016. And whereas during his tenure as mayor, he sat on numerous boards, committees, and commissions, and presided over many council meetings where he spent countless dedicated hours working towards the betterment of Brentwood on projects big and small, from highways to big red chairs. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Brentwood does hereby recognize the many years of dedicated service to the Brentwood community by Robert Taylor while serving on the City Council as a council member and as mayor for a total of 16 years, and wish him best in his retirement, presented this 8th day of December 2020, the Brentwood City Council.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's up on the wall.
And Mayor, staff also want to share a brief gift or two with you as well. I wish we could do this in person. This is a nice box that we prepared for you, and I'm going to open it for you since you can't. It has a key to the city, which you earned. It opens every lock in the city.
Oh my gosh.
And then one more.
I think am I right, Vice Mayor? Oh my gosh, what's that? The street sign.
This is your own street sign. You get to put on any street you want. And the back, a personalized concept that fits you well.
Taylor Way or the highway. That's pretty good. City Manager, would you know this, or somebody in your staff? I think I gave away 2 keys to the city, which they're highly, is this number 3 that you don't know? Okay.
I'm the new guy still. Let's see if Margaret knows. She's got some good institutional knowledge.
Margaret, how many
You're correct, sir. This would be the number 3 key. Don't ask me off the top of my head for the list, though.
No, but that's wow. That's even better than a street sign.
And then, Mayor, we have for Councilmember Staten a nice plaque as well.
Wow.
And then
Wall.
Councilmember Rary as well. Again, we wish we could do this in person. We'll get these to you as we're able to.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. Well, I want to thank the council as I'm getting ready to leave this. I think we've gone through some pretty tough issues. Vice Mayor Karen Rary, Johnny Rodriguez, Claudette, and yet I think we prevailed and we've done a good job. So when we walk out tonight, we can say a job well done. So thank you so much for being supporters and really caring for the city in which you live.
Thank you. It's been an honor serving the city of Brentwood. I truly, truly appreciate it over the last 4 years. So thank you so much to all of the citizens of Brentwood.
Okay, then now, Damien, may I now take a motion to adjourn?
No.
No?
We've got one more presentation we'd like to share that staff put together. We do have at the council's recent adoption renaming of the gazebo, and we have the plaque that will be shortly put up and installed at the gazebo. It isn't ready for tonight, but that will be up shortly. And then if Margaret will share the presentation screen opportunity with me, we'll show a brief video that staff have put together on your behalf, Mayor. And we'll trust that technology is going to work in our favor here. So let's see if it does. Hopefully there's no feedback. Let's see, that's not it. Let's see here. No. Just one moment.
Your pay raise is in jeopardy.
Okay, do you see my screen? Does it show a video?
Well, it's starting. Mayor Bob Taylor, it says.
Okay, I can turn my volume all the way up. Let's see if it works.
Can you take your picture away?
Hi, my name is Julia Milan Serrano. 2020, this year is about to end. And since we cannot convince Mayor Bob Taylor to run for another term, we wish them and Pam continue with the journey of happy life with their families. Mayor Bob Taylor, a dear friend, you will leave a legacy in the community of Brentwood, and therefore we send you all with a lot of prayers and love. With virtual hug, we'll send you all and have a good life. Thank you and wish you well. Watching you develop this town. Your tenacity, your drive, your love for people, your love for the city. All the things you've done, like City Park and City Hall and the library, the bypass, beautifying downtown. The list goes on. And it's been a pleasure watching you do this for the past 14 years and doing it with such dignity and drive. And then one of the good things is you've been one of my best friends in this town, and you've always had my interest in your heart, and I really truly appreciate that. But wherever you go, wherever you do next, we are still going to be great friends. And I'm honored to call you my friend. So it's not goodbye. It's just see you later. Don't go too far away because we miss you, and we still want to see that turkey outfit at Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.
Oh, no.
There he is.
Oh. Thank you. Oh. Cedric. Out on top. Thank you. Keeping safe and economically sound. Bart.
Hey, Bob. Just wanted to say congrats on retirement. There's a message from a couple others also.
Hi, Bob. Glenn Stelmarger. Congratulations on your retirement. I will miss you, and so will the community of Brentwood. Thanks, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Larry Stonebarger here. I can remember when you moved into this area and district back in the 70s, and you talked about serving the city and serving the community. I just wanted to congratulate you on your retirement and thank you for your service to the city and the school board here in Brentwood and at Liberty. Thanks, Bob, and good luck to you.
Again, Bob, congratulations on retirement. For 10 years, I got to work with you on the city council. I enjoyed the bantering, the back and forth, all the politics that were involved. You always had the best interest of Brentwood at heart. The community appreciates it. I appreciate it. And on behalf of the Stonebarger family, we wish you all the best. Thank you for your service and enjoy retirement.
Mayor Bob Taylor. There's a title, a man we will never forget. Bob, thank you for all your years of service to the city of Brentwood. We're lucky to have you at the helm. Wish you and Pam the very best in your next chapter. Thank you and take care, my friend.
Oh, my God.
Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything.
Hi, Mayor Taylor. Congratulations on your much-deserved retirement. I will miss having you on the Tri-Delta Transit Board of Directors. You have a knack for making everything fun, so I know you'll have lots of fun in your new adventure. You should be very proud of everything you've achieved over the years for Brentwood, East County, and for all of Contra Costa County. Your accomplishments will be appreciated by many for years to come. Please stay in touch.
Still, it's a real good bet. The best is yet to come. Best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine?
Congratulations, Mayor Taylor, on your retirement. We met in 2010. You were my first board chair when I got hired at CCTA. A wonderful, wonderful time. You were actually a board chair twice during the 11 years that I've been here. And we've had some great memories. We brought a lot of infrastructure improvements to Contra Costa County working together. So thank you and congratulations on your retirement.
You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine. Wait till the warm-up's on the way. Wait till our lips have met. and wait till you see that sunshine day. You may...
Hey, Dad, congratulations. As we acknowledge your retirement and celebrate all of your 2 decades of community service to the city of Brentwood, from being on council to being mayor, for all of the work that you did in helping transform the downtown, expand the city, build its economy, help families. I love you very much, Dad, and I'm very proud of you.
Won't it be fine?
That's a nice one.
Best is yet come the day of mine.
Wow. Well, can you hear me? Are we all? I said I wasn't going to choke up tonight, but I'm choked. Wow. Do I get a copy of that film?
For $5.99, we're going to be selling it.
Oh, I'm sure you won't. I don't make a whole lot of copies, I guarantee. You won't be selling a whole lot.
Yes, we'll get you a copy.
Okay, wow. Wow.
Just want to thank staff who helped put that together, and even the press who provided some of the pictures, and staff who had pictures. They did a lot of work, but you were the star of that, and we appreciate all you've done for the city.
Wow. Again, my goodness. Damien, I got to get down from the stage. I need a motion to adjourn, and Saini Dai.
Mr. Mayor. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor, and I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Mayor, real quick, Tim, is this the time to speak, or trying to figure out when we all jump in here?
Yes.
Well, Mayor,
after we adjourn, we're going to pull. Yes, now's the time.
So now the time to speak, right? I just want to thank you, Mayor. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was nervous as heck when I got on the council. I was the newest council. Now I'm not the newest council, just within 2 years. You've helped me a lot. I'll be honest with you, I know I depended on you with a lot of advice in regards to how to, do business as a council member. And I just want to thank you. I got to sit down next to you for at least about a year, and then the pandemic came. And obviously we haven't been able to see each other on our Tuesdays and be able to sit next to you and continue to learn. But I just want to thank you for everything you've done in Brentwood. I've lived here all my life. My family has been here for many, many years, and you have made an impact in this community. You've helped do a lot of great things in this community. So on behalf of old Brentwood, and I think new Brentwood as well, we want to thank you, Mayor, for everything you've done, not only as a council member, but also as a school board member. I've also walked in those similar steps as being a school board member and now a council member. And you've helped me see and realize what it takes to be successful within this position. So once again, Mayor, I want to thank you very much for everything and answering my calls, taking the time to sit with me and give me any advice I need. So once again, I'd like to thank you. I also like to take this time, though, to thank Councilmember Rary, thank Councilmember Staten for welcoming to the council and giving me this wonderful opportunity to work with you guys. You guys have always been respectful and open to giving me advice and showing me the ropes, and I just want to thank both of you for everything you've done in this community. As a longtime resident, I know that Brentwood has gone through a lot of changes, and it continues, and I just want to thank the both of you because a lot of people don't understand. It's easy to say whatever you want to say when you're not sitting in the seat, and when you're in the seat, it's a lot different. So I want to commend you both for stepping up and representing this community the way that you guys both have. And once again, I'd just like to thank you guys. And Mayor, I mean, anytime you like to sit down and talk or, anything, I'd love to spend more time with you and continue to grow with some of your knowledge. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, you should have said all that first. Go ahead, Joe.
I do want to thank, first of all, both Councilperson Rary and Councilperson Staten for the outstanding job they've done over the last 4 years. I've had the opportunity to work on several different boards and committees, subcommittees with them. And there's one thing for certain, their heart is always for what's best for Brentwood. and it's really a privilege to work with someone who genuinely cares and loves about our community and the decisions that they make. They weigh out very carefully as to how it's going to affect the entire community. And so I want to thank them very much for the opportunity to work alongside them to move Brentwood in a positive direction. And Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you. You have been an outstanding mayor to work with. I've had the opportunity to be with you for 10 years. And for many of the community, they see you as an uncle mayor, Uncle Bob, our mayor. Your business card is on probably 90% of the refrigerators in town. I love to hear people talking about you, saying, I know the mayor, I have his number. But I have seen you operate in the political waters at the state level, dealing with even federal representatives. I've watched you walk into a room with groups of people that were all after the same money, and you walked out with all of the money, and they all thought it was a good idea. So that takes a skill set and a level of expertise in the job that very few have. And it's been a privilege and pleasure to watch you interact with our community, lead our community. I love to watch your family, and you and Pam and your sons and your grandkids are all an integral part of this community. And you laid a great foundation for the future councils. So thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, sir. All right. Now can we adjourn? We already have a first.
Second.
And Claudette seconded, and I already pronounced it, even probably not correct, but I guess we better have a roll call.
Vice Mayor Bryant?
Aye.
Councilmember Rary?
Aye.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Aye.
Councilmember Staten?
Aye.
Mayor Taylor?
Farewell, my friends. Aye. Was it unanimous?
It was unanimous, sir.
All right. Okay. Camera switches now, right?
Correct. And if
Okay.
everybody else on the line could just bear with me while I make a few quick changes to the members that are participating, and then we'll do the oath of office for the incoming members.
Are you on? You're going to watch the rest? You got it? Can I go out? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go out. I got it.
Okay, good evening. If I could have Vice Mayor Bryant raise his right hand and repeat after me, or Mayor-elect Bryant. I state your name.
I, Joel Bryant,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
or of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, Mayor Bryant.
Thank you.
If I could now have Councilmember-elect Jovita Mendoza raise her right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jovita Mendoza,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, Councilmember Mendoza. And if I
Thank you, Margaret.
You're welcome. And if I could have Councilmember Meyer raise her right hand.
I'm here.
Let's see. Do we have your video on? Is there a...
On mine, I can see it.
Okay.
I'm not in the screen, but I see it.
There we go. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Susanna Meyer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the
that I
United
will
States.
support and defend
Sorry.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
And the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations, Councilmember Meyer.
Thank you.
And at this time, I think if Mayor Bryant wants to convene the 2020-2022 City Council.
Thank you, Margaret. At this time, we will call to order the 2022 City Council. I do want to welcome our new council persons on board. I'm very excited about the opportunity to do great work for our community. This oath that you just took is a big one, and it's heavier on this side of the desk than it was on the other. I have absolute confidence in both of your abilities, and I'm really honored to serve with you. So at this time, we will convene this council meeting, and we will move into item AA2, which is the election of a member of the City Council to serve as Vice Mayor for a term of 2 years. And we've got a staff report, Damien.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, before we do that, just procedurally, if we can do the roll call. And then I believe that there is an item A1 that goes before the vice mayor selection, at least on the agenda that I have. I think there is one for an appointment process.
So like any wedding or food, there's not too much to that omen, so I think we're off to a good start. So yes, if we could roll call.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Here.
Councilmember Meyer?
Here.
Mayor Bryant?
Here. Okay, now we move into item 2A1, the appointment of Mayor Joel Bryant to the Regional Transportation Board's Transplan Contra Costa Transportation Authority, State Route 4 Bypass Authority, East Contra Costa Regional Fee and Financing Authority, or ECRFA, and Tri-Delta Transit. Several.
Mayor and Council, we have put this agenda item before you tonight because there are several of these regional boards that have meetings coming up before our January meeting when we would typically have the council assign each other and get motions made to assign to which regional boards and committees that you want to be assigned to. Most of these boards that are on the agenda here are for mayors, and so that's why we have this prepared for Mayor Bryant to be appointed to them. Just want to make one clarification. So the Regional Board of Transplan actually will then consider to make the appointment for the Contra Costa Transportation Authority. So your approval of that tonight is authorizing the mayor, if he's selected by Transplan, to then serve on the CCTA as we've heard about tonight. So with that, I'll answer any questions you may have about those 5 regional boards.
Are there any questions of staff from council?
No.
Okay, if there are no questions, we'll move into public comment. Margaret, are there any public comments on this?
We didn't receive any public comments via email on this. I do see Mr. Floor's hand raised, and I'm not sure if he wanted to speak on this. We did miss the public comment period right before this. So I'll go ahead and unmute Mr. Floor now and see if he wants to speak on this item. Mr. Floor, go ahead.
Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, I did want to speak to some public comments. I don't mind doing it now. I wanted to say to Councilmember Luis Mendoza, my friend, my ally, my sister in arms, welcome to the City Council. How could we have ever imagined this day would come when one of our own came to be up on the City Council? We've been through some amazing times, and through all these times, you've been a leader, a fighter, a truth teller, and a truth finder. You've been out in front on every issue. You waged an amazing campaign and won over the people in your district as they came to know you are the one we can all trust. Your victory in this campaign is a victory for all of Brentwood, for every Brentwoodian who wants to preserve and protect our way of life and our property values. We know you will always speak for the people, not the special interests. We know you will always do the right thing. As an ally, I trust you to lead. As a friend, I trust you with my life. As a citizen, I trust you with my city. Words cannot fully express how glad I am to see you here. Councilmember Susanna Meyer, welcome. In the short time I've known you, I've come to respect and admire you for your intelligence, wisdom, and your sincere desire to find the best future for every Brentwood resident. You're a breath of fresh air on this council as Brentwood enters a new era. Your presence here gives us faith and a new way forward for Brentwood. We cannot wait to see what you will do. Just know that the people of Brentwood are with you. Councilmember and soon-to-be Vice Mayor Rodriguez, welcome back. We have our differences, but there are things you've done that we agree with and admire. I hope to speak with you soon and discuss where we can find common ground. Let's do good things together. Mayor Bryant, you've been duly elected by a thin margin and with less than 30% of the votes. We hope we can count on you to set aside your developer friendships and big money donors and find it in your heart to do the right things. Just know we saw you take the big money, we saw you lie about it on camera, and we saw you lie about it again in the newspaper. Every word you say, every vote you take, You will be watched for any sign of corruption. If you care about your reputation and your legacy in this town, I would urge you to conduct yourself with honor and always do the right thing for the people and the city. We will be watching. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Rod. There's no additional speakers with their hands up for this item.
Okay, so no additional public comments or speakers. So we need a motion for item AA1.
Can we go to council discussion?
I'm sorry. Yes, council discussion.
Yeah, I just think that, you know, in regards to the committees that have been discussed pertaining to the mayor, I think it's just the right thing to do. I mean, it's been done in the past where the mayors are usually representing the city in these different committees. So I think that we should continue that. I think that the mayor would do a wonderful job there. So, I mean, obviously, I think that it'd be, you know, that's what that seat represents, right? And I think that's the right thing to do is to continue that.
I agree with Johnny. There's a lot of committees that are regional. I think they sit well with the mayor. I think that, Joel, you should definitely be on those. And so, yeah, I agree with Johnny, and I think it's the right thing to do. And we can discuss other committees, I think Tim said in January.
And I agree with my fellow council members that those committees and commissions do feel like the best fit for the mayor to represent the city. Thank you.
Okay, so could I get a motion for this item?
Oh my God, not me.
I'll make a motion, appoint Mayor Joe Bryant to the Regional Transportation Board, Transplant, Contra Costa Transportation Authority, State Route 4 Bypass Authority, East Contra Costa Regional Fee and Financing Authority, and Tri-Delta Transit.
Okay, there's a first.
Second.
Second. Margaret, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Mayor Bryant?
Yes.
Motion
Motion moves forward. Now we'll move into item AA2. The election of a member of council, city council, to serve as vice mayor for a term of 2 years. Staff report. Continue.
Mr. Mayor, honorable mayor, members of city council, I hate to do this, but before we get to this item, Margaret did mention that the general public comment was not mentioned, so we may want to do that first. I didn't see any new hands raised, but just a quick check if anyone else wants to speak before we go to this item would be appropriate.
Okay, let's do that.
Oops. Public comment, if anybody wanted to speak on items that are not on the agenda now, would be the appropriate time. If you could raise your hand in WebEx. We did not receive any additional public comment via email, and I'm not seeing any additional hands raised.
Okay, thank you, Margaret, and thank you, Damien, for that. So at this time, I will turn over AA2 to you, Damien.
At last. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, your meeting rules of procedure set out the Vice Mayor's responsibilities. These responsibilities include exercising the duties and powers of the Mayor when the Mayor is absent, with the Mayor serve as spokesperson and representative for the Council, and assist the Mayor in anticipating issues that may warrant a special meeting. There are no specific rules for selecting a Vice Mayor. The selection is to occur at the meeting when new council members are sworn in after a general municipal election. They're selected, the Vice Mayor is selected for a 2-year term, and the selection requires 3 affirmative votes. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions. If there are no questions, it'd be appropriate to take public comment and then elect the vice mayor.
Okay. Are there any current questions of staff? Seeing none, we'll open public comment. Are there any public comments on this item? Margaret?
Public comments. If you wish to speak under public comment on this item, please use the raise your hand feature in WebEx, and I'll unmute you when it's your turn to talk. And we did not receive any comments via email regarding this item prior to the start of the meeting. And we do have one hand raised, and it's Carolina Villaseca. Carolina, I'll unmute you now. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate the new City Council and Mayor Bryant. And I just have actually a procedural question, which is how is the Vice Mayor picked? What's the criteria? Thank you very much.
There are no additional speakers with their hand raised for this item.
Okay, seeing no additional speakers, we will close public comment, move into board discussion, and first of all, I want to address the question. Normally, the vice mayor is selected for the person that does have the most experience, generally, all members being equal. But it is a vote that the entire council makes, and it has to have a majority vote to approve. And so there's been numerous ways that over the years this has been filled, but predominantly it has been just the majority of council choosing the individual, oftentimes at the recommendation or selection of the mayor as an item for voting as a motion. And so because of that, and because I will make the motion, of course it's up to the council, but because of his experience, because of his understanding by being on so many of the council's commissions and subcommittees that he's been on, I would recommend and make motion to this current council that Johnny Rodriguez be selected for the vice mayor. We have a first. Is there a second, or would you like to have more
I second that. No, I'm fine without discussion. I think it'd be great, so I would second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Margaret, could we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Okay, this is a little weird, but I guess, you say yeah to yourself. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes, and congratulations.
Mayor Bryant?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous.
Can I say something, Joe? Is that possible? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
You know, I came on this council 2 years ago, and I was the youngest one. I was a newbie, and I got away with a lot just to try to learn and do all that. All of a sudden, now I'm vice mayor, and I got no excuses. You know, and so times change really fast sitting at these seats. But I just want to say thank you to all three of you for having the confidence in me to sit in this position. And obviously, if you don't know me, I'm pretty transparent. Whenever you guys feel something, whatever, I hope that you guys are comfortable to know that you could reach out to me and we could have those conversations. So once again, just thank you for the opportunity to be vice mayor for the city of Brentwood that I've grown up and I love. And thank you. It's a great honor. I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit emotional for me coming from where I come from. I'm the son of farm workers that grew up in some of the oldest camps in this community. And now I'm the vice mayor, which I'm still not even used to saying yet. It's going to be a little interesting, and I come from a different environment than a lot of other people. But I've been blessed to be raised in this community with a lot of great mentors, leaders, and people that helped me be where I'm at today. And I want to say thank you to them, but I also want to say thank you to all three of you guys for, like I said, believing in me, giving me this opportunity, and I will do the best I can. Thank you.
And thank you, Johnny, for being willing to step into that. I know that there's some additional responsibilities in that seat, but I have no doubt that you're going to do it as good as it can possibly be done, and I'm proud to work alongside of you. Well, at this time, I do want to take an opportunity one more time to thank the outgoing council, Mayor Taylor, and Councilperson Rary and Councilperson Staten for all the great work that they've done. I do want to welcome our new council, and I have confidence that we're going to do great things. It's difficult times, but I know that we're going to do good things for our community. So with that, could we get a motion for adjournment?
Well, I think we were told to make a quick statement.
Yes, please do.
I just want to say thank you to my husband, my daughters, Sophia and Elsa, my mom, my family, my friends, the Alliance for a Better Brentwood, and everyone who has supported me, not only during this campaign, but with every issue that I've ever worked on. I'm excited to get started and work with all of you and to help build a local government that puts residents at top of mind. And then, y para mi gente de habla hispana, a ustedes también les digo muchas gracias por su apoyo y quiero que sepan que estoy aquí para ustedes. So, thank you very much.
And if I could also speak?
Yes, please, Councilperson Meyer.
Thank you. I, too, would like to start by thanking my family, my husband, John, my sons, Zach and Jacob, who canvassed and put signs up and worked my website to make it magic and all those wonderful things. My mom and my sister are watching, and I'd like to tell them how much I love them, too. This is not something I take lightly. I do recognize the responsibility and accountability that comes with taking this seat, but I am so very, very honored that the community trusted me enough to vote for me, and I can't possibly thank them enough for taking the chance to elect me into this position. I'm very, very much about communication, transparency, and just engaging with the community, and I really would like to encourage everyone to reach out as often and as frequently and as regularly as you possibly can. Your feedback will only make me and, in fact, the rest of the council that much stronger. So to everyone I've met along the way, the mentors, the advisors, the advocates that are so strong in our city, thank you. Thank you very much for this recognition and honor. I will absolutely do my best to serve the city.
Thank both of you. You are my representative for district that we live in, and so I want to thank you for stepping up and representing my family as well. At this time, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion. I'll make the motion.
We have a first.
I'll second that.
And a second. Margaret?
Councilmember Rodriguez or Vice Mayor Rodriguez?
It still sounds weird, but okay. Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Mayor Bryant?
Yes. With that, we are adjourned. Everyone, please have a safe holiday season, and take care.
And we'll see you all next Tuesday. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.